How's it going, fight fans? It's your boy Joey G from Wrestling Headlines. We are back, and today we are joined once again by a very special guest. He is a premier athlete, a former WWE NXT Cruiserweight champion, and a man with an ab for each day of the week. We are talking to Tony Nese. Tony, good morning. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing good, brother. Love the Mets hat. Hopefully
Thank
things.
you.
Hopefully, I'm a New Yorker myself, so it's nice to see someone wearing a Mets hat these days.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
see what happens with this new management.
we will see what happens with this new management. Listen, the between the Knicks, the Giants, and the Yankees, something's got to give this year, man. Hey, listen. Let's kick things off with talking about your career prior to signing with WWE. Now, you already had a pretty impressive resume prior to signing. Like you worked X Division and TNA, you worked for Dragon Gate USA, Evolve. You worked with a lot of big names on the Indies at that time. Even did a tag match against the Young Bucks. You were pretty well established before you had signed to the Fed. My question is, do you feel like at that time, prior to signing to WWE, you feel like you had a pretty basic understanding and a honing of your craft?
Yeah, I think I did. Although actually, okay, at the time, yes, I definitely think I did until you actually go into WWE and you start to realize, oh man, there's a whole nother world to learn. Because honestly, independent wrestling and TV wrestling are two completely different things. And you'll hear that from almost anyone who's been through the system. So that's why that's another thing. It's always very funny to me because it's hard to compare. I understand on a fan standpoint, it's all the same, but to a wrestler who does it, like it's really hard to compare like an indie wrestler or an indie promotion and something like WWE and even now AEW becoming more prominent on television, and you can tell they're kind of learning more and more kind of the television aspect of it rather than just a large live event. So yeah, I mean, there was just so much to learn. So going into it, yes, I felt technically sound. I felt physically sound. And I thought I when it came to that, I definitely feel like I knew my craft. But then when it came to learning about now cameras and cuts and time and all that stuff, that was the big learning process. But it was kind of fun because it was a whole nother world to learn. And we would try to at training, like I trained in Long Island out of NYWC, and when we would try to we would practice as much as we can, working hard cam, working working times and stuff like that, but until you're really in that situation, you don't really realize how stressful it can get.
Sure, understandable. Well, listen, man, I think you adapted to that environment very well. I think
Thank
you
you.
were for the site. I heavily covered 205 from like the start. And you were a
Nice.
heavily featured player on there, man. I loved watching that show. I loved watching your work. Speaking on that, you had a lot of great matches when you were in WWE. You had that big Mania match against Buddy Murphy, and then the even better rematch on 205. You had some great feuds against Cedric Alexander, a lot of great tag matches. Do you particularly have a favorite match during your time in WWE?
I'd have to put the second Buddy Murphy match up there.
Mm-hmm.
The one that it's so many reasons behind it too, not just the fact that I felt like that was we pulled the best out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this was again for anyone who doesn't know, it's the 2 days after WrestleMania. This was in Barclays, and that's the thing, like the whole environment where we were, the fact that it was WrestleMania weekend, and then not only that, but like we were the last possible wrestling that everyone was going to watch
Mm-hmm.
after such a long week of, I mean, there's people and you would see the same faces a lot sometimes, at Access, and then at NXT, and then you see them at WrestleMania, and now they're at Raw, and then they do SmackDown,
Mm.
and now you have the last hour of wrestling. And listen, I'll say it, we were the least over guys because we were just the least presented, and also everyone has seen everyone that they paid their money to see,
Mm.
right? At this point now we're just creating content for television. So it was, you kind of go into it, and I was like, we even thought like we were like, well, we need to just kind of figure out a way to try to capture these people for one last hour or one last 20 minutes, because like we thought we were just we were going to be up against a very tough thing. And honestly, like, and credit to Buddy. He definitely is, he's got a great aura around him. He attracts a lot of people. So people are very interested in him when they see him. So that definitely helped a lot. And yeah, like it felt so good by the end of that night when we were just getting a reaction that even 205 doesn't normally get. So after all of that weekend, and we still got that reaction, like that goes down as one of the most special moments for me.
Well, that's awesome, man. And like I said, I already mentioned it before you even dropped it. It was a great matchup. I know it was, you had said prior, like it's the match that you guys wanted to have at Mania, probably couldn't because of time stuff.
Yeah.
Now, just a last question on 205. Me personally, as someone that watched it from the, very first episode all the way up through, I always was curious as to why 205, at least wasn't taped prior to SmackDown, because I felt like it would have been more fresh. And I don't know if that was ever an internal discussion or how the talent felt, but like, how did you feel about that situation? Just because it seemed to make the most sense in my mind.
Yep. Listen, you are preaching to the choir. We were
gotcha.
literally, and I would say 99.99999% of everyone backstage felt the same way. It really just came down to one man saying, it says live in the title. It's got to be live, and I mean, you could just guess who the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a great Michael Hayes impression, by the way.
Exactly. Michael Hayes would be like, what the hell's 205?
Understandable, man. Well, listen, let's move past your WWE days now. Your first showing in AEW, you get to have this marquee matchup against Sammy Guevara for a very prestigious title now in wrestling, the TNT title. Another great showing. You took Sammy to the limit. He caught you with a pump kick and then hit the GTH in a fluke win, should I say. We know that he cheated.
Absolutely, of course.
But how did you feel having this first big marquee match on this new promotion? Like, you feel like you lived up to your height?
I hope I did. I'm not a very I don't, or I should say I'm very critical of myself. So I don't really, so it's hard for me to be like, oh, I killed it. Like, I never really talk like that. But I'm definitely hoping, and from the response I got, also from the responses from Tony, he even later that week contacted me to let me know how much he enjoyed it and everything. So I definitely think I did a very good job in debut. That's always the biggest thing too, is like, man, this is like a fresh, clean slate here. Like, don't mess this up. But you know what? Also, Sammy is, he's excellent and he's on a roll right now. So he can't have a bad match, So that always helps you kind of going into it. Like, all right, listen, I know what I'm doing. He knows what he's doing. And I don't know if you know this, but we've done this before. I actually wrestled him in Texas at Wrestle Circus years before, when he was like just about to break out. So like, just because he was from there and he was becoming like the new local star. And then we had that match. I mean, and it was great back then. And it's awesome because he was awesome back then, but now you can see the huge differences, how much more advanced he's gotten based off of working such, all these different names. As soon as someone builds up, that's kind of how it works. They start to get in the ring with guys who can teach them better. And in wrestling, it's always a learning process. You can't go to a school, learn everything, and then you're going to be the greatest.
Right.
You're going to learn by getting in the ring with the greatest,
Well, like I said, man, you guys put on a very, very excellent match. I look forward to seeing more excellent matches from Tony Nese in AEW. Here's kind of a fun question, a little off the tent. I recall you saying, I can't remember if it was either on a TV special or in an interview, you had this extravagant idea for a very special Tony Nese entrance where we're counting the abs towards
So I that was we were doing that show, the 205 Life. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
We had our own little YouTube show, 205 Life. And it was kind of our way of like, all right, we just have this small show that barely gets promoted. Social media is getting big. We see how Woods is doing big things with up, down, down, and everything. So we're like, let's create something of our own where it's kind of like everyone kind of see us, our everyday lives. Excuse me. How the cruiserweights hang out together and on the road and all that stuff. Really great concept. Credit to Jack. He did all the editing and filming and all that stuff. But the problem was we got we got shut down by the company, so they were like, hey, you guys got to stop filming this stuff and putting it out, because it was all, we did have a lot of like backstage stuff and everything. But anyway, so that's a side note. So I did say on it, we had to create our own WrestleMania entrance, and this was before I did Mania, but obviously I wasn't gonna get this entrance. But yeah, the idea was that I don't remember it word for word, but I do know that the idea is I come out, and as I'm doing the ab count, we have fireworks going off all, 8 times. And then, but first, hold on, I'm sorry. First, my music plays. It starts off with a chorus, because like my song was like, whoa, right? So we actually have like, some high-end New York chorus, right? and they're doing that part for a while, and then it starts to break out into the guitar part and everything, right? And I'm coming down ascending from the heavens. I'm coming down on this whatever they use, a crane or whatever. And as I'm coming down, the light shines on just me, and that's when I start the ab count. And we got fireworks each time I counted or whatever. Yeah, so I believe that was the idea of the entrance. And honestly, I just want to say, AEW might have the budget for this.
I brought it up because I was like, all the stories I hear every time I talk to an AEW talent, they're like, Tony loves hearing ideas. Tony Khan, give us this entrance. We demand it. Yeah. The wrestling media demands it. Wrestling fans demand it. We want to see our boy Nese have 50 explosions for every ab that he has.
I would say in WWE, there was 100% chance that would never happen. Right? I'd say in AEW, there might be a slight 10% chance that could happen.
There you go. It's the classic Dumb and Dumber. What you're saying is there's a chance.
Yeah, there's an absolute.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thanks for talking about that. I mean, that was just I remember such a fun tidbit. And I was like, honestly, if there was a create an entrance mode in the 2K games, that's like the first one that I'm going to do. Listen, I only have one more question for you, Tony. Again, I thank you so much for joining me, Joey G, at Wrestling Headlines. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
I feel like a lot of people always ask wrestlers in these interviews, like, oh, now that you're with AEW, like, who's someone you would want to face off with? I'm going to try and change it up just for clarity and not to have the same question be asked to you.
Good.
AEW is very known for their tag team division. If you ever decided to try and shift and join up with someone in the tag team division, is there someone on the roster that you would team up with to compete in this competitive division?
All right. So, I can have multiple answers, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
This is your interview. You can walk out of the room and that could be your answer.
Team whatever. I mean, honestly, you said you followed me in 205, so I am kind of like a little bit of a tag team prostitute. I kind of jump from partner to partner here.
Listen, prostitute's a strong word. I'd say a good tag team date. I'd say a good tag team date.
Escort, a tag team, or no, I don't know if that works. Anyway, so. I would say right now, a good one that I would love to do again is Trent Beretta. And probably almost no one knows this, but me and Trent Beretta were a tag team before he went to WWE.
Interesting.
He was Plasma and I was Maverick. I don't know why. And we were actually called, believe it or not, the Dude Busters.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We need this reunion.
And then he went to WWE, and then I remember him like debuting on TV with Kalen Croft, and they come out to the name Dude Busters, and I just texted him like, bro, what the hell? It was but no, it's fine though. But anyway, yeah, so we teamed up for a while, but like he was probably one of the first people like I clicked with as a tag team, and like we kind of had the same style and the same ideas and the same we loved watching the same stuff, studying the same stuff, because like we kind of trained together. He started a little bit earlier than me, and then when I started training, we kind of linked up, and I would always go to his house and we'd watch like Hardy Boy tapes and stuff like that. Yeah, we loved all that stuff. So so he would be fun to partner up with again. Another one, and this has to be a signed AEW guy, right?
Honestly, Tony, it could be whoever you want. I just figured like if you had pickings from the promotion, go for it. But honestly, you could name anybody you want. They don't even have to be alive. If you want to be like,
okay.
I would have loved to have teamed with the Hot Rod. I feel like we could have taken the Lucha Bros to the limit.
Anyone like that would be great. Anyone who I can just kind of ride their coattails and get over with them. Now, so Is there no? So I guess Ariya Daivari has been doing darks lately.
Mhm.
So he would be,
You guys had
he's
many a great tag matches in
so
205. Mhm.
and teaming with him and all that stuff, and like especially like during the last like year of us being in WWE, like we
Mhm.
teamed a lot together the
Mhm.
whole time, and like I'd say we're the like we helped keep each other sane, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, like just kind of sticking together and stuff. So he's become like my best friend. So he'd be, I would love to continue teaming with him, but
Mhm.
they actually have him going in another direction with someone else right now.
Mhm.
So I guess I'll have to ask Trent if he wants to be my partner.
Well, shout out to Trent, shout out to Arya. You guys are missing out not having the premier athlete in your corner
Exactly.
because
Of
there's big
course.
things coming up. Tony, again, I thank you so much on behalf of Wrestling Headlines. Is there anything besides telling people to watch AEW you'd like to plug, your socials, anything like that?
Uh yeah, I mean my social media is easy. It's at Tony Nese on Instagram and Twitter. And then also I have a Twitch account, Tony Nese PA, which the PA stands for Premier Athlete, not
Mm.
Pennsylvania. I need to change that, but anyway, I never thought of that. And then everyone hits me up and they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
you're from the
yeah."
Pennsylvania area. I see. Can I ask also what are you playing these days on Twitch?
So I mostly play honestly Fortnite. I usually
Mm.
try to get like Biff Busick on with me or Buddy Matthews and stuff. So, but uh, I'm gonna start playing. I just re-downloaded an old Civilization game.
Mm. Oh yeah, those were great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play Civilization for a while, but also once a week, usually Sunday or Monday. Myself, Ariya Daivari, and Biff Busick have been. We started like our own little kind of talk show stream or whatever on
Oh,
Twitch
very
and
cool,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
fun.
So we did a Super Bowl one. Yeah, we just did a Super Bowl one and it was great. We just streamed the whole Super Bowl. It was a blast. We just kind of tease each other and say stories, answer questions, whatever it is. Gulak actually will hop in sometimes,
Oh,
and
that's a lot
then
of fun.
we got other guests lined up for the future. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, again, wrestling fans, that's Tony Nese PA on Twitch. Give him a follow.
Yep.
Watch him talk about how OBJ should still be on the Giants, and but you know what? Damn it,
Yeah.
I'm happy that he's got a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tony,
Right. Good for
seriously,
him.
man, I truly, truly, and I mean this, really look forward to seeing what you do next because you've already had such a great impact on the wrestling scene in the last several years, and we look forward to
Thank you.
seeing what you do. So, thank you very much. Good luck and God bless, buddy.
Thank you so much.